Well, I'll tell you, if anybody had any sun deficiencies, vitamin D deficiencies
Today was their day.
Today was their day to take care of that.
Absolutely. So, the sunshine, hard to escape for us here across the Pacific Northwest. And a lot of folks taking advantage of the above average temperatures, up by about 10, 15 degrees across much of our area, as the blooms and blossoms of spring are definitely underway, and not a cloud to be seen in the sky earlier this afternoon, as a few more clouds are slowly going to be pushing their way back into our area. So the time to enjoy the dry, sunny skies is now, as many of us are flirting with the mid to upper 70s out towards Vancouver, upper 60s for us out along the shoreline. As the pollen counts, yes, they are on the high side of things. So keep the allergy medication close at hand, although we will start to see some improvement Sunday as temperatures slowly cool and the chance of rain really starts to bring a lot of those irritants back down to the surface. But let's just talk about the beautiful conditions being seen across the coast, up in elevation over the Cascades, as the meltdown does continue out over the Mount Hood areas, wine country. Maybe a great day to spend some time out at the Stoller Winery. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the beautiful views, as a few of those isolated thunderstorms are still firing up over the foothills of the Cascades. As they try to push their way further off to the north and west, they'll really fizzle out as they move into the lower elevations of the Willamette Valley, leaving behind cloud coverage and maybe a few stray raindrops. But the thunderstorm threat really minimal for us here across the central and northern Willamette Valley. Can't say the same, though, after a history of severe thunderstorms have been firing up, and you'll notice a lot of them already beginning to weaken. The lightning count slowly starting to come down this evening, but we're not done with that threat just yet, as a low pressure system continues to spin just to the south and west of us, not only helping to bring those warmer temperatures back into western Oregon and southwest Washington, but also providing enough energy in the atmosphere to produce some of those thunderstorms. As a marginal risk, a reminder, that's about a 1 out of 5 chance of seeing things like large hail damaging winds, and even the threat of a tornado or two is a possibility for the rest of this evening. But as we start to approach sunset, that threat is really going to slide backwards. It becomes a little bit more widespread, but not as intense or severe, with just non-severe potential really closing in on much of the state of Oregon, as we prepare even here in the Willamette Valley for maybe a quick little rumble or a bolt of lightning, and that activity of small hail that is a very real potential come Friday afternoon and evening. Now keep in mind, severe weather, it has to be 58 miles per hour with those wind speeds or greater, hail the size of an inch or greater in diameter. And although we are anticipating lightning, that does not fall under the severe weather category. But when thunder roars, be sure to head indoors, especially as we work our way into tomorrow afternoon and evening. A rumbler or two, a possibility for parts of the I-5 corridor. As everything is fizzling out tonight, maybe a stray raindrop or two for parts of the Albany area, Lynn, Benton County. As we wake up with mostly cloudy skies tomorrow, there's where all of that activity pushes in towards the I-5 corridor. Again, some stronger thunderstorms, a potential for us as we start to work our way towards Saturday, with just a few scattered light rain showers helping to fill up the bucket for us, close to about a ½ inch or so. And we could even close in under some of those heavier downpours, closer to a full inch of rain by Saturday evening, as our 7-day forecast is showing the scattered rain shower potential taking us all the way into next week as those temperatures begin to cool, but still holding on to the low 70s for us tomorrow. That's going to help to add fuel to the potential of those stronger storms.
Well, I put away my rain jacket and my umbrella. Now I got to bring them back out again, right?
Yeah, it's still April, so this is what we like to see.
All right. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah.